is Cecil B. Moneygetter, host of Money Talks, a new financial news upload that is laser focused on digital finance, cryptocurrencies, robotics, electric vehicles, stocks, the cannabis industry, and much, much more. Tune in and join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern on our Information Meets Execution YouTube channel as we bring you financial news uploads, one trending topic at a time. And don't forget to stay listening, because money talks.
Good evening. Today is Tuesday, August 27th, and I am doing your daily 7 p.m. Money Talks upload. So we're just going to begin with our cannabis news. We have DEA schedules hearing on marijuana rescheduling, delaying reform until after election. The Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA, has scheduled a hearing to consider different expert opinions on the Justice Department's proposal to federally reschedule marijuana, an extra procedural step that will take place after the November election. After moving to reclassify cannabis as a Schedule III drug under the Controlled Substances Act back in March, DOJ opened a 60-day public comment period that saw more than 40,000 submissions. Now that the DEA has reviewed the comments, it has agreed an administrative hearing as requested by supporters and opponents of the reform. The hearing will be held on December 2nd, according to a notice set to be published in the Federal Register on Thursday. While some advocates and stakeholders had hoped that the DEA would avoid this additional step and move to final rulemaking, the agency has often rescheduled hearings for regulatory proposals of major public interest, and rescheduling cannabis for the first time since it was designated as Schedule I over 50 years ago evidently met that standard. That said, the hearing adds some uncertainty about the potential rescheduling timeline. There are some concerns this means the rulemaking progress will not be completed before January, which can mean an administrative change-up after the November election that theoretically could affect the rescheduling process. Next up, we have our financial news. Gold's price trading close to its all-time high. Following Fed Chairman Powell's speech on Friday, gold once again rose above the 2,500 per troy ounce mark. Supported by the deteriorating situation in the Middle East over the weekend, the price on Monday was close to the all-time high set last week at the Jackson Hole Symposium. Powell said that it was time to adjust policy. Commerce Bank's commodity strategist Carson Fritz notes, God has no significant upside potential. The timing and pace of rates would depend on incoming data. As a result, the USD depreciated and bond yields fell off, both which were positive for gold. Expectations for rate cuts have risen slightly. Currently, Fed funds futures are pricing in a rate cut of around 35 basis points in September and rate cuts of around 35 basis points in September and rate cuts of just over 100 basis points at the remaining 3 meetings through the end of the year. The prospect of falling interest rates is also attracting investors. According to Bloomberg, gold ETF holdings rose by 15 tonnes last week to the highest level in 6 months. Speculative interest is particularly strong. The net long position of speculative investors rose to around 193,000 contracts in the week of August 28th, at the same time as gold hit an all-time high, its highest level in almost 4.5 years. Much of the positive news for gold may therefore have already been priced in. Next up, we're in the technology side of things. The Apple iPhone 16 event is officially set for September 9th. Apple Watch, AirPods, and more. With Google Pixel's 9 event in the rearview mirror, it's time to look ahead at the industry's next big showcase, Apple's iPhone 16 event. Arguably the biggest date on the data tech world's full calendar will take place on September 9th at 1 p.m. ET. And as always, rumors about the iPhone 16 lineup have been flying around in the run-up to the event. Apple is using the tagline, "It's Glow Time," on an invite sent to the media. As usual, the event will take place at the Steve Jobs Theater at the company's headquarters, Apple Park in Cupertino, California. This year, it is more likely to be a muted one in the terms of hardware. This year is most likely to be a muted one in terms of hardware changes, with Apple perhaps placing more onus on the software side and AI-powered Apple Intelligence. Apple will certainly upgrade the chipset that the iPhone runs on in its largest part because it will still want to make sure all of its current smartphones support Apple Intelligence. As things stand, only the iPhone 15 Pro and iPhone 15 Pro Max have enough oomph to do so. Plus, a new chipset is bare minimum upgrade. Apple may slightly increase screen sizes this year. The camera array could get a new look on the base iPhone 16, with Apple ditching that square and and switching to a vertical orientation, Apple is most likely to upgrade the cameras on several models too. There may be a more significant change on the camera front, as Apple is expected to add a capture button that includes zoom gesture controls. The idea is to make it easier to take photos and shoot videos in landscape mode. It's unclear whether the button will be available in the entire lineup or just on the model. However, the iPhone 16 and iPhone 16 Plus are expected to lose the mute switch in favor of the action button that debuted on the iPhone Pro and iPhone 15 Pro Max. Word on the street also suggests that we'll get some updated AirPods at the event. We may see both entry-level and mid-tier versions of the AirPod 4s in a couple weeks, with the latter supporting wireless charging for the case. You'll be able to watch the iPhone 16 event live on YouTube, Apple's website, and the Apple TV app.